the Bushels and Beef Farm Tour and Podcast, where producers talk markets, share stories, and cut through the noise in agriculture.
Welcome to the Bushels and Beef Podcast. The WASDE report dropped Monday, and it delivered the trifecta no one wanted. Corn yield up, acres up, ending stocks up. When grain markets go sideways, you call the experts. Shane Holtorff is one of the owners of Logic Ag Marketing, and Melissa Schmidt is a grain advisor who also farms in Wisconsin. And this week's WASDE report, about as ugly as it gets for corn producers. We're talking through the numbers, the reaction, and what comes next. So let's dive in. Welcome, Shane and Melissa.
Thanks for having us, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. So before we dive into the WASDE news from the week, let's talk about some real life stuff from the week for you guys. What's a moment from last week or so that had you guys rolling your eyes? Melissa, do you want to start?
I think that would be the report on Monday had us rolling our eyes.
It's a slam dunk answer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What about the numbers around you, though? Despite the WASDE report up in your area, Melissa, how are those things looking?
I mean, our yields were really good here in southern Wisconsin, so can't really complain about that. Elevators are still picking up corn off the ground, so maybe we out-yielded it.
Nice. How's the winter for you up there? Is it super snowy, or what's the vibe up there for you guys?
We don't have any snow on the ground right now, and it's really cold here today. But yeah, we'll see how the winter it's supposed to get snowier, so we'll see.
Alrighty. Shane, what about you? I know you've got a lot going on. I'm sure you've seen a few things this week.
Yeah, man, the easy choice there was the USDA report for the eye roll. But I won't steal Melissa's thunder. Something that's got me tripped up is we play farmer out here, and I learned that I'm not a very good farmer. I've got a lot to learn, so we just bought a semi, and I've got it stuck like 3 times on loose gravel, and then trying to load that thing. I'm either like 4,000 pounds heavy or 4,000 pounds light, and so it turns out I'm not super smart, and been in a grain bin yesterday, and I realized that I am as fat as I think I am. That wears a guy out in a hurry. So.
Oh, man.
Welcome to real farming.
Right.
Yeah, and even this last week, I found a book on someone's coffee table, and it was from Successful Farming. It looked pretty old, and it was about how to save time and save money and make profits in farming. So we might have to pull that book out and do a little book study or something this next week.
Right. Maybe we should just read a chapter of that to the followers every week. So.
Yeah.
There we go. Touching on the WASDE report, do those reports ever get less frustrating for you, or is that just kind of the common theme anymore?
I think this one is probably the most frustrating that I've seen for a long time. There's a ton of brokers and stuff out here in the world, and everyone's got different opinions, and usually they're on different sides of the fences. And I've seen people that I've disagreed with since we've started that are now like, what is wrong with the USDA?
Oh man, so it's bringing together the business a little bit, but also creating a lot of negative reactions.
Correct.
Oh man, that's I mean, it seems like farming never gets boring, rarely simple. So
Yeah.
we'll jump into our next segment here. Let's see, the WASDE breakdown and grain market. So let's jump into this talk. I know it's not the most fun, but I know there's a lot of people kind of looking to see like what's next, and looking to the future too. So to jump back into Monday's report, Shane, Melissa, it was a triple whammy. What happened? If you guys want to break it down a little bit.
Sure. I'll take the reins on this, Melissa, and you can chime in if you'd like. So, corn was kind of the stinker here, I guess. By and large, people thought we were going to see a yield reduction, and some of us thought a pretty sizable yield reduction. There was obviously pockets that had a good crop, and we knew that, and a lot of it was fringe acres. The area that usually counts or pulls the most weight, I should say, didn't have the best of crop. And, I've got a lot of buddies that are crop adjusters and connections in that industry. And, they're constantly going out and finding guys that are right at their APH or small losses. And that doesn't add up, to a 186 and a half bushel national yield, in my opinion. So that was whammy number one. And, then the big thing is we went from just a shade over 90 million harvested acres to now 91.2. Just poof, showed up. Um, so, you take a larger supply and, or sorry, a larger acreage count and a larger yield, and it adds up to a much bigger supply. And so that's what really got the market rolling. Bean ending stocks jumped up quite a bit. Harvested acres moved just a little, and actually the bean yield was neutral, but carry out got bigger nonetheless. And so, yeah, I guess everyone felt a little bit blindsided by this report. And, at the very least, people thought, we'll kick the can down the road and we'll deal with it another month, which still would have, made some farmers pretty mad. And now we've got this, which feels like a complete rug pull. So, Melissa, you got any light to shine on that?
I feel like that too, like we were all caught off guard. And I think the farmer was probably more optimistic that we were going to go lower than even we were. But obviously, they had a different agenda. So here we are dealing with where we are.
Yeah. I mean, probably one of the more frustrating things for me is this big change in harvested acres. I know that not all the yields are reported, but the FSA has access to a ton of data, and to be that far off at this time of the year and never have made a small adjustment prior is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I would agree with Shane. Like that, the corn numbers were probably the hardest ones to rationale to a farmer, and whereas soybeans was like that was pretty simple to tell the farmer, hey, it's the same. But that corn numbers felt really gross on Monday,
Yeah.
to
Yeah, I
be
pulled up
nice.
the report numbers here from the newsletter that was sent out, and we put that here in a video to highlight some of the numbers here. Obviously, people have definitely seen them already, but if you're
Right.
underneath a rock or coming back from
Right.
a long nap or something, here are the numbers.
Right. I mean, and yeah, just look at the second bullet point. Ending stocks from 1.97. That's a number that's already a pretty comfortable ending stock that doesn't need prices to rally much, and we were really hoping we could see that drift down to a 1.7, which still would be plenty of inventory around. And now, we're above a 2.2, which is it's not a
So Monday's WASDE report was the triple whammy. Melissa, you just wrote a morning newsletter to all of the Logic Ag newsletter subscribers talking about the grain markets this morning. So what are the markets doing today after, the couple of days here past the report?
Well, we've come up a little bit from the bottom of the corn market here at Piers, and we had some good news with exports, and also ethanol had an all-time record last week for production. So if we continue to do that, that would be stellar for us to get through some of this corn carryout and help us with our next crop coming up.
for sure. The ethanol thing was kind of surprising to me with $60 a barrel crude that we're continuing to produce that much ethanol, and hopefully that doesn't come to a halt. But yeah, very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, the ethanol demand was definitely interesting, hitting a record high in the same week that there was also massive ending stocks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll take
for
it.
sure.
Take it.
We'll
That's
take
going to
whatever we
catch
can
up
get
with
at
us.
this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The scary thing for me about this report is, I was moderately bullish. I'm going to say for the similar time frame as last year through Valentine's Day. I thought maybe we would catch a little bit of a supportive report rally into mid-February, but I'm usually not one that turns into a negative Nancy on these markets. But this is a really, really hard market to get excited about now because in February we're going to see the USDA Ag Outlook Forum probably come out and say, "Hey, you grew 186 and a half bushel corn this year. No reason you can't grow 188 and a half next year." And you harvested 90 million acres, so let's plug that back in. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh shoot, we're gonna grow another big crop on top of this already 2.2 billion bushel carryout. So, they say the night is darkest just before the dawn, but man, this it really sucks. We need a drought, and I guess just pray for one not on your farm.
Anywhere but where you farm.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, geez. So, yeah, with that, we'll talk about here some managed money and marketing position. So, what's the fund positioning looking like right now? And are they piling it on?
Yeah, it sure seems that way. There's a little bit of a corn short, and we'll know more here at the end of the week on what they've done with those positions. But my guess is that they, especially on Monday there, my guess is that they really piled that on and added to their position. So bottom line is, that's good and bad. I typically I tend to like it when the market's short. Obviously, record long is great when you're able to sell $7, but when you have weak shorts that are in the market, it doesn't take much to spook them, and you'll typically see a short covering rally. And so my hopes are that all these people are not super married to their position, and if we can get some sort of a supportive news, even into spring, too wet to plant, weather issue in South America. Let's get them to cover their shorts, and then we need to take advantage of it and make some sales.
Correct. I would agree. We just need a little an event to get a pop in the market to make those sales quickly.
What's the producer sentiment right now in Wisconsin, Melissa?
Uh, they're not so excited right now. They're hopeful still that they're going to get something out of it. So I think they're being optimistic. A lot of them looking forward to vacations, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Things away from the grain market.
I don't know about you, Melissa, but I think I had a record number of calls the last few days of guys just wondering, like, what's next?
Yeah, I set my guys up for pretty good that might happen. But yeah, they're all in the camp that they're going to wait now, opposed to just dumping all their bushels here and just walking away at the bottom.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
So yeah, with those phone calls, Shane, I know we probably have to tread lightly a little bit around here right now, but what should producers be doing, or what are some of those conversations like right now?
Yeah, it's tough. We're rolling into, or we will be rolling into March where we're going to start making our land payments, our cash rent payments. Typically, the equipment payments are due between now and March as well. Really, really cash flow heavy time of the year. And, bottom line is it takes grain on a farming operation or grain sold to make that cash flow. And so, without diving too deep into the weeds, I would say it's okay to make those cash sales, but have something working in place on the other side. So if this market does take off, you're not sitting here mad that you sold on the bottom and mad that you missed out on the rally. And that's what we really try to do with guys is talk them through that. Hey, if you need the cash flow, let's go ahead and start making the cash flow, but let's put a plan in place to capture a rally should it come.
I think also another thing is wait for those quick ship opportunities that might come down the pike when nobody else wants to ship grain. You take advantage of those and make sales at that time too.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do all the things that have made you comfortable. Like, man, I don't like to ship in February, because I don't want salt on my truck. Well, it might pay to, get that truck washed off when you're done hauling. There's going to be some of those quick ship opportunities. I think that exist. That's a good point.
Yeah.
With Melissa, we were talking a lot about numbers too recently, and a lot of it comes down to also like where you're sitting at too, figuring out cost production, using different tools and even pen and paper and knowing break evens too when making decisions.
Yeah, I think it's important right now when you have a little bit of slower time that you're figuring out your cost of production, or at least where you want to kind of do some stuff, so that it's easier for us to help you make sales, and it's easier to pull the trigger because you know you're making money or close to break even, that you're feeling comfortable there on that.
Melissa, this is where you give the shameless plug that that's what you do for a living is help guys
Oh,
and gals sit down and
this,
figure those cost of productions out, right?
this isn't okay. I don't, hey, I'm working
Yeah.
on this part. This is not me. Um,
So, Melissa, is that something that you're able to help producers with if they have questions about that? Are
Yes,
you able to work through
we are
that with
able
them?
to sit down with producers and to figure out their cost of production at the farm gate, sit down at the table, have those discussions, and then we can help you market around your your actual personal cost of production. Everybody's is slightly different, so just because your neighbor's at one price doesn't mean you're there. So reach out to us and we can definitely hook you up.
Melissa is
Do
the
that.
queen of that. I one thing I will say is she'll sit down and if she makes a marketing plan with the guy, there is 100% accountability there. And Nick, you and I talked about that last time. That's what people need and sometimes want is the accountability. And she's awesome at that piece of it.
Thanks. I really try to hold well, partly because we farm too, like Shane. So I still have to market green also. So I'm holding myself accountable along with my farmers. So if I'm not doing it necessarily on my farm, most of my guys are not doing it either.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely a really unique part about Logic Ag that we've talked about with the past cast too is a lot of this is hands-on experience with you guys yourself, and then you're going to the producers too, and you're able to sit down with them, and it's you know totally relatable. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what would work for you in your certain situation too. So that's such a really unique point with working with Logic Ag.
Yeah,
When you're
it's
working
kind of
with, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Nick, to hammer that point home, when I was in the lending world, we would get brokerage statements from folks, and some of them had positions so complex that you would have to write them out on a piece of paper, to try to figure out if the market does this, what happens to my customer? If it does this, what happens to my customer? And a general rule of thumb should be, it's why I like working with us. And Melissa said it. If we're not willing to do it on our operation, then you shouldn't be doing it. Period. So I think that's the most relatable thing that we offer.
Yeah. And I also want to just touch on the basis that I'm in the grain cart, so like I know what our yields are and I can relate to the growers as what is happening out in the field. And I love that part of being able to have that flexibility to know what's going out in the field, happening out in the field because I'm there. And that's my favorite time of the year too, because all your hard work all year long comes together in the fall.
Yeah, and that's definitely powerful if you're sitting there in the grain cart there instead of reading the USDA estimates, right?
Yeah, for
Throws the
sure.
phone through the window.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, combine just ran over it.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we were talking about knowing your margins and whatnot, you can do it pen and paper, get out the books and all that. But then there's also a really unique program that you guys offer too called Bushel View. Do you guys want to touch on that a little bit and how that helps producers?
Sure. Melissa, you want to start?
Sure. So it's a program that is unique to us that offers grain marketing platform so we can figure out your cost of production, how many bushels you're going to have. We can make a marketing plan even to your insurance levels, and we can put offers in there. You can review them. You could see what your made sales are on because it doesn't matter what elevator you're going to. We don't care. We care that you actually physically sell the bushels that you need to be moving at a certain time frame. So not all of my customers ship in the fall, some ship in the spring. So it's kind of tailored to each individual farm. And sitting down with them and figuring out their cost of production takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it because in the end, the farmer knows where they are at and we know where they're at. And then we can tailor around that.
For sure. Yeah. I think the most important thing that Melissa said there was it's tailored to each operation. Everyone markets differently and everyone's got a different standard of living, a different fertility program, you name it. And so to be able to take that into account when you're building your market plan is really a must. So for those of you that are jumping on this, what is bushel view? I've never heard of it. We've got customers that are currently utilizing a program called Grain Basis today. We're bringing Grain Basis in-house. We're going to make some really, really good improvements to it. I think the customers are going to like it. It's going to allow us to make better recommendations, more personalized recommendations. So there's a lot of exciting, good things to come from the Bushel View platform throughout the year.
Yeah. Very excited about bringing it in-house and making those changes. And
Even though she
the
doesn't
producers
look
are
super
gonna.
excited, she really is excited.
I am. It's exciting.
I was gonna see if I could throw in a good old. Oh, here we go. Maybe it's something like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a really powerful tool. Definitely, if you're interested in something like this, reach out to Shane or Melissa here. Their contact info is on the website to get a little preview of what Bushel View how Bushel View can enhance your production there.
Yeah, one thing I'll add to that, Nick, is with the advent of AI and whatnot, there's a ton of things like this that are spinning up, and I think it's great. There's more tools that are available at the farmer's fingertips. I won't knock that at all, but I think the one thing that makes Bushel View unique is the faces behind it. The information is only as good as you get. There's a big education piece behind it, so you'll be able to go into your cost of production and whatnot and figure out your break even in 100 different tools probably by the end of the year. That's cool. If that's all you're looking for, that's awesome. But if you're looking for someone to sit down and say, hey, I'm really busy planting right now, I need this sale executed, or I don't even care about the market, help me out. I think that's where we set ourselves apart far and away from many of these other tools that are out there or that are popping up.
Yeah, I would add to that, Shane, and say I personally keep my guys accountable. Like I don't care if you're in the tractor, I don't care if you're doing whatever. If you need to be making a sale, I'm on you saying, let's make a sale. I'm looking out to the future too. It's not just in the nearby and saying, let's get that sale done because you need to ship grain during this time. So I think it's the accountability on our side to make them follow through where they don't want to necessarily follow through.
That's definitely huge because then, yeah, you're helping them make money then and be more strategic instead of just waiting around. And so, yeah, I'm sure everyone definitely appreciates that.
They better.
Yeah. All right. We've covered the WASDE disaster, some fun positioning, and cost of production. And before we wrap up here, we're going to jump into our last segment here to close out the show. I've got a couple quick questions for you both. So, Shane, you've seen a lot of WASDE reports. Does this one rank in your top 5 worst?
Yeah, it ranks as the worst. It's number 1.
Number 1.
Solid.
Oh, man. Let's see. Melissa, you were talking to me about curling, which is super unique and a really cool thing that you do. Will we be seeing you in the Olympics in February here?
Not quite. I mean, I'm just below that Olympic level. So
Okay.
it is fun winter sport I curl about 3 to 4 nights a week. So it's kind of exciting. Something to do in the winter.
Yeah.
Nick, I think the only thing that's keeping her out of the only thing that's keeping her out of the Olympics is I don't think they allow them to drink beer on the ice there at the Olympics. So
Don't tell all my secrets.
Shane, you and the team are heading to Nashville tomorrow for a broker conference. What happens when you put that many people in Nashville?
Gosh, I don't know. The intent is to go down there and get educated on the market. So we're going to start there, but I've got a pretty bad feeling. It's going to be like having a handful of bouncy balls and throwing them as hard as you can at the ground and seeing how they scatter, I think is what's going to happen when we're released at night to go have fun. But I think it's cool. Blow off some steam. We've all had a long week. We've been, psychiatrists here for most of the week. So, I think it's great that we go down, learn a little, and probably have a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, Shane and Melissa, thank you for breaking this down for us. I know the WASDE report was rough, but you guys gave us some clarity here, and that's what matters here. And I know the people that you work with definitely appreciate you guys listening to them and getting them through this time too. And but yeah, thanks for talking about all that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. If you're a producer and you want help figuring out your cost of production, or if you just want to talk through your marketing strategy after this WASDE mess, reach out to Logic Ag Marketing. The team can walk you through it, and check out Bushel View to see how it can help you track everything in one place. And if you're not already getting the Logic Ag Marketing Daily newsletter, now's the time. They cover cattle, hogs, and grain markets every morning and afternoon. So that's episode 4 of the Bushels and Beef podcast. Thanks for tuning in.